I went to Laos to get away from the smoke. They do a lot of slash and burn in Thailand, which is where I was at the time. And this is 2016, where I was up near Chiang Mai, the Mi Hong Son Loop, if you're familiar with that. So I come down from there, get to Bangkok, or get to Chiang Mai, I forget which one, and then take a flight to Luang Prabang. Beautiful little city, and I have some amazing pictures from there. But so I get there, and I'm staying at this guest house called Sao Sao Lo, which which I've been to. This is the first time I was there, and then I was there a couple of years ago as well. But so as travelers, what you do is, I went there alone, but travelers tend to meet each other, and there's a common area in that guest house where you can just talk, play chess, listen to music, whatever. And so, I get to know people. And there's one person from the UK that I got to know, another person she's from San Diego, but was living in New York at the time. And then I also met somebody from Japan. So we decide to go to Kuang Si Falls, which is this beautiful waterfall and over in Laos. And if you've ever seen any photos, videos, or anything like that from it, then you know what I'm talking about. And there's a hike. You have to go. There's a hike there where it's similar to if you've ever been to Erewhon Falls, the seven layer falls in Thailand. It's a similar type of concept, and so there's different pools. And so what we do is we want to go there, but we want to save money. So we don't want to take a tour necessarily. We want to do our own thing. And so there's three of us, and we're hailing down these two cooks, and they're talking to them about, okay, so how much is it? Um, how does it work? And we end up getting a tuk tuk, and there was another group that was doing the same thing to us. And so there were six of them. So that when when we went or traveled to the falls, they had a cabin, and there were three people in the back in the cabin, and then there were six of us, me included, in the back. So we're just hanging on, having a good time, looking at the scenery, or just watching everything because I hadn't been to Laos before, so everything was new to me. And my impression of Laos was it's definitely not as developed. Even now, it's not as developed as say Thailand or Vietnam, but it's it it's a bit on the rugged side. So, but we were going to falls, and I wanted to go to falls. I just didn't get the opportunity until now. So we get there, and so we're hiking up the falls, and there's a place that where people jump off and into the water, and it's really famous as far if you've ever watched or seen videos about it on Instagram, it's it's famous, and so we do a lot of that. So a lot of us do that, and then we walk up and see some other waterfalls, smaller waterfalls, different pools, which are also on Instagram if you see it. And so we're walking up, and then we start hearing this roar, and the roar is from the falls. So we're walking, and we we're like we see the falls. We're like, whoa, this, and it's impressive. It's There's nothing like it. There's nothing, and if you've ever traveled, there's nothing like seeing it in person. Obviously, so we're just blown away. Like everybody that I'm with, even the people that were just walking with us, were blown away. And I couldn't. It's hard to it's hard to put it into words, but it's a big gigantic waterfall, and I had seen I'd seen lots of YouTube videos on it, and so there were people at the bottom of the waterfalls of the waterfall, and which is not something that you could do, but they were there anyway. So we did that for probably 15-20 minutes, and then there's a hike up so you can get to the top of the waterfall and look down. And so I knew that because I had read about it in I was Nomadic Matt is one of the bloggers that I was following at the time, and he had been there. So what we did, or what a couple of us did, was was hike up. So it's pretty steep, and I was in flip flops. So you know I should have worn better shoes, but you can still hike up in flip flops, and it was fine if you know what you're doing. And so I got to the top, and it's at the top you can see everywhere. Like there's hills all around, and you can see the top of the falls. You can actually see people below, where where we were like half an hour prior, and you have to walk on these logs to get to this other area. And one of the things that you can do there is you can, I didn't do it, but you can go on this bamboo raft. And they take people, from there to upstream. And then there's actually a rope swing at the end that they take you to, and you can fly off the rope swing into the water. I've heard it's fun, but for some reason I didn't partake in that. So some of the group did, and so they had stories to tell. But what was impressive was just the the fact that you could just hike to the top, do a few things, and just the incredible scenery at the top that you don't really think about. So we did that, and then kind of hiked down a bit. I got some beautiful pictures, or pictures, video. So that I'll post. But yeah, so we go there, we're blown away, and we're talking about it on the way home. So that's one of the stories that makes travel such a fun experience, and very, very interesting, and just you can't script it. You can't script travel like that. So I just wanted to share that with you and inspire you to go off on your own adventures, and do it. Go take pictures, take video, and have the time of your life.